Yo, what's up, guys? This is Mario from Bulldog Attitude. I'm going to drop a little bit of knowledge on you guys again today. Last video, I told you I would continue to create content around things that I did to start this brand that I believe that will be truly transformational in your life, that you can apply some of the same small steps and actions that I did to start this brand to your daily life to accomplish some of the things that you may see or think that are monumental, that you can really just apply some of these same principles and small steps that I did to start this brand to your daily life. Today, out for a walk again, wearing the original Bulldog Attitude baseball cap, the hardcore hoodie, and under the shirt, I've got the Iron Discipline tee. So I'll link some pictures to this video so you can actually see the three pieces of the apparel that I have on today, and also we'll send or attach a link to the description to the website so you can go to the website and see some of the things that I'm wearing today. All right, y'all, I'm gonna start today's video off with a quote by Henrey Ford. It goes a little like this: whether you think you can or you think you can't, you're right. That quote isn't really about being positive. It's about how our thinking creates momentum, or it stops momentum before we even start. Remember in my first video, I talked about the two voices. One voice is truly the bitch voice, the one that actually stops us before we do anything, or the boss voice that takes over and creates us momentum to move forward. Andy Frisella talks about that in some of his videos, about that voice, that bitch voice that really comes in and really stops us before we can even move forward, tells us that we can't, we're not capable, we don't have enough education, or that boss voice that tells us to take that first step. What is it about momentum that's so powerful? First and foremost, think about pushing a car, right? So when you first start to take or push a car, it takes a certain amount of force to actually get the car moving. And once you get the car moving, you have some form of momentum. But that initial force to get things moving is hard, right? So whether you're starting a new business, starting a fitness journey, or whatever it is that's in your life that you want to start, that first effort to get things moving is very, very difficult. And that's when that bitch voice kicks in and tells us that we're not capable, we're not smart enough to do some of the things that we really want to actually go do. But once you get that momentum started, you really want to actually keep it going. So some of the things I want to talk to you guys about today is how do you create momentum and how do you get that thing moving? And first and foremost, how do you get the momentum started by taking the small actions and the small steps to create the things that you really want to do in life? So for me, that force and starting to gain momentum mounted up into three things. How do I get started in creating this brand? I had no idea about who to contact for a graphic designer to design the graphics for my t-shirts and hoodies in this brand. How do I actually develop a website? I have no idea about website development. Who's going to print the t-shirts and the brand once I get the graphic design made? All of these different things was a force that I had to overcome and start making small steps. So ask yourself, what is it that you want to start? Is it a fitness journey? Is it a new business? So if it's a fitness journey, how do you actually start taking the first steps and getting your body moving? How do you start making those first phone calls to start your new business? That's what it was all about for me. How do I contact and who do I contact first to figure out graphic design? I mentioned in my first video, Cigar Life Banks. He had some really nice graphics on his hoodies and his tees and during his videos. So I reached out to him. It was very hard in the very first because I procrastinated and really didn't draft up that email for about 2 weeks because I was scared. Maybe he would not contact me back. Maybe he thought, I was creeping on his website. But, the fear for me to hit send and actually send that video was overwhelming at times. But I made that first step, drafted the video, hit send, and lo and behold, he responded and told me to call him. We had a 30-minute conversation. He gave me his graphic designer to help me start the logos and everything around Bulldog Attitude. So it's those first steps that you have to start taking and think about what you need to do to create momentum. That force to get things moving in the very beginning is very difficult and can be overwhelming at times. But again, if it's starting a fitness journey, starting a new job, you need to take those first steps and have to overcome the fear and that bitch voice to tell you that you can't do it and you're not capable. But drafting that video and hitting send ultimately came out to creating this brand. Secondly, who do I reach out to and how do I contact this graphic designer, and what graphics design do I want for my clothing line? Again, it took a little bit of courage, mental toughness to reach out to the graphic designer. I reached out to him and me and him came to an agreement to what the logo looks like. He sent me some ideas back, and lo and behold, I really started to like some of the things that he sent back. So Sam at 912 James Street Productions was my graphic designer. I'll leave his info in the descriptions below if you like some of the graphics that I use, but an all around good dude, was very, very open to creating some new design for the Bulldog Attitude brand. So again, small steps. Reached out to Cigar Life Banks, asked him about who he used, contacted the graphic designer to design the logo for my clothing line. All small steps, all took courage, all took force to get started. Sooner than later, I started to feel momentum behind the brand. I wanted to keep that momentum going, and I needed to figure out who would I contact to build the web page. I will tell you there was many stumbling blocks in creating the web page. Spent, quite a bit of money trying to get that done. Took a lot longer than I wanted to, but ultimately me and my son sat down. He's a lot more technical than I am, and we were able to create a web page. My son's also got his own t-shirt brand started off. I will I'll put his link to his brand in the description below as well. But ultimately, he helped me get my website going and linked all the clothing line to it. Secondly, I had to figure out who was going to print all of my clothing and ship it. My son helped me understand what that looks like, built the website, and sooner than later, the logo came from the graphic designer. We started putting stuff on tees and hoodies, and things started to come together. So again, it's that force that you need to start in the very beginning, the fear of the unknown, to step out and actually go do it. Again, fitness can be daunting. Finding a new career, starting a new business, all those things can be very daunting, in the very beginning. But again, it's all about that force in the beginning. Once you get it moving, you need to keep it moving. Question: how does that bitch voice really start to show up, and how does it show up for you? You're not capable? You don't have enough time? Does any of those sound familiar to you? They sound very familiar to me, because before I started this brand, that showed up a lot and told me I didn't have enough time, I didn't have enough education, didn't understand enough to start this brand. But there's so many different areas in your life that you can start if you don't listen to that inside voice and you take the small steps that I took to contact the Cigar Life Banks to understand where he got his graphics done, contacting the graphic designer, working through the pitfalls of getting a website started, spending a little bit of money and lost it, and ultimately coming back to me and my son designing the website, figuring out a print-on-demand company that could print my logo and put it on clothing. So again, those are all examples of force and small steps I took to move forward. You can use these examples clearly in your life to overcome many obstacles, but just know that voice will show up and try to stop you before you even start. But if you take the small steps, do the small steps, keep the momentum going, you will overcome it. I promise. Honestly, you don't need confidence to start. Confidence comes after you start to gain momentum, but just start. Take the small steps to create what you really want to actually go do in life. Again, keep harping on fitness, job promotions. There's so many different things that this is universal to use in your life that will transform the things that you actually go do. So again, confidence comes later. Once you start to create momentum, that force in the very beginning can be daunting, but if you continue to take one step at a time, one foot in front of the other, you'll make it. And don't stop the momentum. So with that, I'll say, ask yourself, what is it that you want to accomplish over the next 90 days? What small steps can you start to take on a journey to make 2026 a better year for you. Again, it could be fitness, it could be a new business, it could be a new job, a better relationship with your family. It could be a lot of different things, but you got to start taking those small steps and ask yourself, what things could I do in 2026? What small steps can I actually start to take and apply some of these principles that I'm starting to learn to my life to make 2026 a better year for me? I will tell you, momentum over motivation wins every time. So get started. Take some of the small steps, apply some of these principles we've been talking about in this video to your life, and start winning. I'll attach again the link to the Bulldog Attitude brand. Again, wearing the original OG hat, the hardcore hoodie, and under this, the Iron Discipline t-shirt. I'll attach pictures to all of these to this video. Also will attach a link to the website so you guys can go over there and order some of the Bulldog Attitude brand. Know that some of the proceeds to this brand is going for a cure for canine cancer, and I appreciate your guys' support. Hit subscribe on the channel, like, leave comments. I appreciate your guys' time. Another video. I'm out. Love you.